On a very warm and sunny Thursday afternoon in Melbourne, we welcome you to day 3 of the NAB AFL Draft Combine here at Etihad Stadium. Hello everyone, Matt Thompson with you, alongside our two draft gurus here at the AFL, Kevin Sheehan and Mick Ablett. Good afternoon to you both, and right now the beep test is going on behind us. This is a tough test, Mick.
Absolutely, mate. One of the most gruelling ones, one that the boys really get tense and a bit edgy about, but one of the recruiters get a lot of value out of too.
All right, talk to us about some of the results, Kevin.
Well, Josh Kelly, now he's one of those guys available for the mini draft. It'll be decided from next Monday onwards, has been one of the best with about a 14.6. Oliver Wines, a much talked about early draft choice, 2 of the 14.4 have been 2 of the early success stories of the midfield guys. So still plenty of guys to go through before we work out who ends up number 1 in this particular discipline.
A lot of the recruiters and the club representatives sitting in the stands at the moment watching this. They're also watching very closely this morning as we saw the skills tests completed. Let's begin with the Brad Johnson goal kicking. Shifter.
Yeah, Matty, in for the first time this one. A real focus on goal kicking in the game. So 5 kicks from 5 different positions. You've got a couple of set shots, a couple of snaps, and then 1 shot on the run. So you have 5 shots a goal. Maximum score would be 30, of course. And we had 3 guys tied on 30 out of 30. Perfect scores. Jake Stringer, the highly regarded guy from the Bendigo Pioneers. Jesse Lonigan, the much talked about boy from Launceston and Tassie, has had a wonderful camp. And Andrew Boston, a boy from Queensland, from Broadbeach. Great to see him with the perfect score. Tim Membry, another guy that kicked goals late in the year for Gippsland Power. Very impressive with his workout.
All right, let's turn our attention to the kicking. This was the Nathan Buckley designed test.
Yeah, absolutely, Matty. Some guys in this one that were fantastic. We saw Lane Wilkins, Rory Atkins and Josh Simpson all get 29 out of 30. It's a test that measures the guys, 3 kicks on either side of the body, 3 different distances. So all those 3 guys, fantastic in this particular event. Nathan Rovert was another one. He's a beautiful, small, pint-sized midfielder, but an accumulator of the footy. Again, 26 out of 30 for Nathan. He was one to watch also.
Now, the Matthew Lloyd clean hands test. Talk to us about this.
Don't fumble the ball, use it smartly right and left hand. A very simple test, but you need to be disciplined and neat with it. Lane Wilkins and Matthew Dick were the 2 stars, both with 29 out of 30. Lane, of course, from Pill Thunder in WA, Matthew Dick from the Calder Cannons, a Vic Metro rep. Another one we like was Nick Vlosten. Nick was the captain of Vic Metro, the most, one of their most valuable players, a great leader. He plays that way too. He never fumbles a thing. He's got a great hard edge. Nick Vlosten, 26 out of 30, very impressive.
Okay, now of course the focus this week has been quite heavy on the international talent that we've got here at the NAB AFL Combine. Kevin, there are some people out there that are a bit critical of it. We saw today that the American boys didn't do the skills tests. So there's a good reason for that?
Well, the reason's pretty obvious. They've picked up a Sharon about a month ago. So really this is to test you at the attributes you're gifted with and have been working on. And so over time they'd learn the game. This is their starting point. They've been fantastic with the Sharon in their hand the last week, but we're going to put them under the test of the similar test of boys that have been playing this game all of their lives.
Well, let's hear from Tony Woods. He's the man behind this concept, if you like. He's the International Development Manager of the AFL, and he says that it's absolutely justified to be bringing this international talent to try out for the AFL.
You know, and for me, it's about breaking through those paradigms and opening our mind to the possibility. And if it is the best game in the world, then the best athletes from around the world should be playing it and also be given the opportunity to play it.
Tony Woods there. Now, we've spoken, Mick, a lot about the Irishmen. Obviously, you know, America is kind of a new frontier, if you like, in terms of trying to get talent out here. The Irish, though, have had a great deal of success before, and the 2 boys that are out here are under the tutelage of Ty Kennelly.
Yeah, absolutely. Sean Hurley and Emmett Bradley. There are a couple of guys that played with the European Legion earlier in the year against the AFL Academy in London. Fantastic. They're guys that have certainly got the ability to transition. We've seen a number of guys, Zach Toohey, Marty Clark, make the move. These guys have got a little bit more size and really look the part.
Let's hear from them.
After seeing greats like Tyg and Jim Steins, like even reading Jim Steins' book as well, I'm sure Tyg will have one soon.
I have already, man. What have you done? Have you watched it? Hey, unfinished business. Get it in there.
A similar story for you?
Yeah, well, after reading Ty's book and Jim Steins' book, it's great to see that people from Ireland can make the transition and become stars of the game.
Oh yes, having a bit of a laugh there with Ty Kennelly. Now, Shifter, let's talk about Jack Viney. Obviously, the father-son situation is very, very interesting. We're looking forward to seeing what happens on Monday morning. Some interesting comments from Jack in the press talking about Melbourne's got one chance to get him. What do you make of all of that?
Interesting read, wasn't it? But I know that next Monday at 10 o'clock, that'll be decided in seconds as we have the father-son draft decide the fair value, it's called. We've got Danner, of course, and Viney. Until tomorrow, the clubs have got to make a decision. I think Jordan Burke, Geelong have decided not to go with him. We're waiting on James Stewart, so it's all interesting there. Lockie Hunter's another one we see working out today. It's not confirmed yet whether he'll be in that father-son draft. But look, Jack just wants to play the game. He's a bull at a gate. He loves attacking the footy, and he was full on with his, I suppose, emotional commitment to wanting to be a great league footballer. So I love that part of it.
Absolutely. Well, of course, the recruiters have big calls to make in terms of whether or not they make bids under the father-son rule. Let's hear from Scott Clayton. He's the Gold Coast recruiting manager.
He's certainly in that first group, you know, from 2 to 6 or 7, I would think. And there's a lot more sort of data to come out of this and interviews. So, you know, regardless, he's going to have a super career.
Scott Clayton there. Now, another part of this week, guys, that we've been talking a lot about, this is obviously the fitness test component going on behind us. We've seen the skills and all of that sort of thing as well over the course of the week here at the Combine. But in the corporate boxes above us here at Etihad Stadium, each club has their own box and there's been meetings going on each and every day. It can be quite an intimidating process.
Yeah, it certainly can. But at the end of the day, Matty, we're telling the boys, go in there and be yourself. Present as best you possibly can. Be honest with the clubs. They know enough about the boys on field. They've got a good feel for them off field as well. Just put your best foot forward.
Let's hear from a couple of guys about how they're finding the interview process. Brodie Grundy and Jack Martin.
Yeah, well, like I said, it's pretty private. So we've only had a couple of interviews. So it's just strengths and weaknesses and stuff like that, and just areas to improve and how you think you'll go if you go into state and stuff like that. So pretty standard.
Yeah, it's a bit frightening going into the interview room with 7 blokes sitting around you, but no, I've managed to get through it, so it's been great experience.
And before we move on, Kevin, a quick word on Brodie and Jack.
Well, Brodie will play in a final at the weekend. He's an awesome specimen, this fellow, at 202 centimetres.
It's in South Australia, isn't it? Under 18s?
Under 18s. He'll start there at 9 o'clock, but you'd expect him to go very early. He's the back-to-back All-Australian ruckman.
And Martin?
Well, Martin's in the mini draft pool, so he might have his fate decided as soon as next Monday. He's one of the young guys. 5 17-year-olds are here trying out for those 2 last spots where GWS and Stephen Silvani have the chance to trade away 2 choices of the younger players.
And just finally, the repeat sprints, we saw them late yesterday here at Etihad Stadium. A quick word on those?
Yeah, Matthew Haynes was the star of this. Out in his own here, 6 efforts over the 30 metres. It's your accumulated time. He did 23.91 seconds. Not far off the best ever time, 5th in fact ranked. He's had a great combine overall. His sprint time was excellent with a 2.90. He's done a 27 out of 30 for his Buckley kicking test, so that's the combination you're after.
And the beep test continuing behind us, Mick. Was there any thought to closing the roof, or is this just adding to the punishment for these guys? This has got to be one of the most gruelling tests at the Combine.
No, absolutely, Matty. No thought of closing the roof. These boys are tough. They know what it takes to make it to the top, and this is just another example of what's ahead of them.
Well, that is our report from day 3 at the NAB AFL Combine. Of course, we have complete text coverage for you here online in our Combine portal, so make sure you have a click around and see what information there is there for you. There is just so much stuff from our team of reporters, and we'll be back with you tomorrow to wrap it all up on the final day of the Combine. For now, it's goodbye.